Hi, my name is Arzi.
Hi, my name is Sherwin.
Hi, my name is Sean.
Together, we are going to present to you guys our topic Al Arkam. I hope you guys enjoy. To begin, let's start with the history of Al Arkam. Firstly, Al Arkam is a Sunni sect of Islam. It was named after one of Prophet Muhammad's Sahaba, also mean companion. His name was Arkam bin Abi Arkam. During the early days of Islam, he provided his house as a place to hold meetings in secret since Islam was persecuted at the time. Al Arkam was founded by Ashari Muhammad, also known as Abuya, in 1968 at Kampung Datuk Keramat, Kuala Lumpur, with 10 to 12 other people. Al Arkam later moved to another place in 1972 at Kampung Sungai Penchala, Kuala Lumpur. However, it was banned by Dr. Mahathir, the Prime Minister during the time in 1994. Moving on to the man behind the teachings. Ashari Muhammad was born on 30th October 1938 in Kampung Pilihan Rembau, Negeri Sembilan. His father died when he was young and he was raised by his uncle who was a Muhammadiyah fanatic. Abuya was a shy man, but he was eloquent in his speech. His interest in religion was so strong, he finished reading the Quran at 9 years old. He died in 2010 of lung infection, where his wife, Hatijah took over his duty to da'wah.
Moving on to information on Al Arkam. Al Arkam, which was established in 1968, they set up their base in Datuk Kampung Keramat. After 2 years, they transferred their base to Kampung Sungai Penchala in 1972. Al Arkam has tried to strengthen themselves through social and economic endeavors. An example of an economic endeavor is when they start up 52 shops around the area. Some examples of the products are chili and ketchup sauce. On the other hand, an example of a social endeavor is the Rufaka Corporation. Which was established in the late 1990s by Azari Muhammad himself. Its purpose was to revive the Al Arkam with a different approach. The Rufaka Corporation was set up in Kedah, Selangor, Terengganu and Pahang. The Rufaka Corporation is also related to Globan Ikhwan Sendirian Berhad, who owns multiple businesses such as schools, bakeries, clinic, law firm, book publications and many more. Lastly, Al Arkam was banned in 1994.
So why was Al Arkam banned? It was banned because it deviated from the mainstream teachings of Islam. One factor that made them deviated was because it had similarities to another infamous deviant Islamic teaching, Muhammadiyah. N is reference book Aurat Muhammadiyah. The founder of Muhammadiyah, Sheikh Muhammad As-Suhaimi, claimed that he had not died but rather vanished, only to reappear as Muslim saviors, Imam Mahdi, at the end of the world. He claimed that he had met Prophet Muhammad in Mecca and Prophet Muhammad gave him the book Aurat Muhammadiyah. He had also altered the Shahada, which means proclamation of Islam, by adding that he is not dead. Abuya, also known as Ashari Muhammad, had distorted some practices of mainstream Islam, where he claimed the followers of Al Arkam should follow these practices of Islam, where the followers are supposed to follow this 3 practices. Pray 3 times a day instead of 5. Friday prayers are not compulsory, and anyone who attends a ceremony with him is granted reward, pahala, which is worth 40 years of praying. Ash'ari Muhammad also claimed that he can delay the death of sinners. And lastly, he had manipulated the Islamic codes of belief, Aqidah, and Sharia.
Moving on to the last topic of our presentation, recent developments of Al-Arqam. On November 2006, religious affairs officers raided and arrested 100 people under suspicion of trying to revive Al-Arqam. Soon after, the Rufaqah Corporation was also raided and its employees arrested multiple times. This was because a fatwa, also known as a decree, was issued prohibiting the teachings of Al-Arqam. On December 2006, 2 employees were arrested. And a day later, 4 more employees were arrested. They were all held under suspicion of violating the fatwa. Another recent development of the Al-Arqam sect is Hatijah Am, widow of the deceased Ash'ari Muhammad, being accused of and pled guilty to having attempted to revive Al-Arqam. Moving on, inside of Malaysia, Al-Arqam is still active in Selangor, along with 19 other deviant teachings. However, many followers have also moved outside of Malaysia, where a large number of followers have moved to Singapore and a small number to Australia.
My views, right? So, in my opinion, this set, right? There's nothing too bad about it. It's just that they picked the wrong time to rise to fame, or to be precise, infamy. Because when they started to grow, it was also the time when our greatest Prime Minister took office. That is Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. I'm sure you guys know him. And since Dr. Mahathir was a very authoritative person, so he doesn't like this kind of movement. So he tried to blame this movement for teaching wrong things about Islam. That's his political points. So instead of showing the lights on the things that they did good, which is focusing on knowledge and social betterment, he focused on the bad stuff. So in the end, this Al-Arqam fall just because of that. So in my opinion, it's not really a bad sect. It's just wrong place at the wrong time, something like that.
So Al-Arqam was a movement that was quite conflicting in its time. It definitely had people drawn to two differences of opinion: the government's authority in handling the matter and Ash'ari's vision and what he wanted to achieve with it. To me, it would have been really interesting to see what Ash'ari could have brought with a strict adherence of Islamic code and the home-based economy. And on the other hand, the government's decision to ban the group, I think, was definitely the right move, because it could have turned out to be a cultist movement. As we see today, when certain movements are given too much freedom, they become an extremist organization. So it's, at the end of the day, I see it's a 50-50. It could have turned out to be better and it could have turned out to be the other way. So that's my opinion on it.
Personally, I think there's a very fine line between government-controlled religious activity and religious freedom within the country. In this case, Al-Arqam was banned by the Malaysian government on the grounds that they were planning a revolution against the Malaysian government. On one hand, if they were actually trying to plan a revolution, the Malaysian government would have been very justified in their banning of Al-Arqam. But, however, on the other hand, if Al-Arqam weren't actually trying to plot a revolution, this would have just been the Malaysian government overstepping their boundaries. In the end of the day, there's not enough conclusive evidence to show whether the Malaysian government was right or wrong in this banning of Al-Arqam.
Okay, I personally think Al-Arqam was a political act instead of what it's meant to be. They practiced adherence to an Islamic code and developed an economical base. Thus, everything was a pure political game between the government and the religion. But at the same time, Ashari Muhammad was such a strong man that he never gave up on the establishment and performed well throughout the years.
This is the end of our presentation. Thank you for bearing with us for 4 months. This is the end of it. With that,
Namaste.
Sat Sri Akal.
Allah Akbar.
Salu, salu, salu.